Hi, my name is Brittany Bennett, and I'm a tutor at the Dixie State University Writing Center. I have worked here for about a year and a half, and I'm also a writing tutor for the history department and their assignments. Today, I'm going to give a little tutorial on literature reviews. A literature review is an assessment of scholarly literature written about a specific topic. And literature reviews are meant to summarize, analyze, and synthesize the most important parts of a source or sources. And so when you summarize, you are giving a brief overview of an author's arguments, their thesis, the topic, and how they approach it. And then in analysis, it's more your opinion, your assessment of the quality of the work that they've done that you've just described in your summary. And so, though it's opinionated, you're still trying to be objective, you're trying to be fair, but you are giving an appraisal or value judgment of this work. And then in the synthesis, you bring together all these little parts that you've pointed out about the work, and you give final conclusion, final verdict on the worth of this source. And so some of the key elements that you'll see in a literature review are, of course, the full bibliographic entry of a source, which means this is the full citation of the work that you're talking about. So whoever is reading your literature review can go find this source themselves. And it also gives credit to the author or authors. You'll also have a brief overview of the source's topic, thesis, and background, if necessary. You'll want to give a fair evaluation of strengths and weaknesses of the source. And so there's nothing wrong with recognizing what a source has done correctly. In fact, this can model productive strategies in your own research, or helps when you compare and make connections to other works that are on the same topic. And then in addressing weaknesses, these are places where future research can improve on. And also kind of lays a foundation for improving the approach that they've taken. And then, of course, making comparisons and connections with other literature on the same topic. As you become more familiar with a research topic, you'll start to notice certain authors showing up consistently, or you'll become familiar with a variety of literature, of books and articles on a topic. And you'll recognize that different authors have different interpretations, approach sources in a different way, and you can kind of compare their approaches, maybe even looking at what is done that's productive or what is done that's unproductive. And also how different authors have built off of each other or past research. And then also including implications of the research. So this is something that the author may or may not address explicitly. If they state in their work, oh, I didn't fully explore this aspect of my topic, then it kind of leaves it open for someone else to address that part. They won't always say what those things are. Sometimes you'll pick up on them yourself, and it'll give you an idea for your own research, perhaps. And so, scholarly literature is basically research presented by scholars in specific fields and is often peer-reviewed to ensure accuracy. So these are types of sources that are generally pretty reputable, meaning other professionals in the same field had to look at it and give an appraisal of it, make sure that it was up to standards for publication. However, a difference here is that not all books are going to be peer-reviewed, and so this kind of makes it necessary for literature reviews to happen so that different people can look at the source and provide judgment on its worth. And so some hints for when you're writing your literature review are make sure you're using active reading strategies throughout the process of reviewing literature. And going with this is take care to use things like sticky notes, highlight and underline passages, take notes while you're reading your sources. This is extremely helpful because these notes that you're taking throughout the process are going to guide you when you're writing your actual literature review. It'll help guide you to certain passages that help strengthen a point that you're trying to make. It just makes all the information so much more accessible and also easier to remember later. So I would highly recommend doing this. Also, make connections between your sources. Recognize what some authors do that's similar, what some authors do that's different. This can help you recognize if there's a unique worth in a particular source, if it's done something that no other source has done, or is it kind of just doing more of the same. And also, you want to be able to summarize and analyze each source. And so, summary is necessary for a reader to understand the background, and analysis is necessary for understanding the worth, the use, the applicability of a source. And of course, you want to be able to represent each source fairly and objectively as you can. So this means recognizing biases that you might have that might make it difficult or might make you want to give a slanted representation of what an author is talking about. But the ideal you want to strive for is, even if you disagree with an author, if they were to look at your summary of their argument, they could nod and say, yes, this is exactly what I was trying to say. So from the point of summary, accurate summary, you then provide your analysis, which is then where you start to say, this author did this in an ineffective way, or they didn't interpret their sources correctly. This is where you can start to level critiques, which are not necessarily the same as being negative, but the purpose is to sort of provide feedback on what they've done and how they have done it. Yes. And so for any additional help, feel free to check out the handout that we have on this tutorial. And as for meeting with a tutor, feel free to schedule an appointment. You'll usually find literature reviews in APA or APA or psychology writing, or in Chicago style for the history department. You'll see them there as well. And so if you want to schedule an appointment with an APA or psychology specific tutor, you can schedule an appointment with Ashton or Kelsey. And if you would like a history specific appointment, you can schedule one with me, Brittany. Thank you.